Damian blinked, and the rain that had pelted him moments ago simply vanished. Where water had pounded the pavement and soaked his clothes, now only unnervingly still air remained, thick with the electric hiss of broken neon. The reassuring glow of campus lights had been stripped away, replaced by a small handful of sputtering street lamps. Their feeble radiance cast long, uncertain shadows across the empty roads. Everything was hushed. No laughter, no voices, as though someone had pressed the world's mute button. Rather than panicking, Damian felt an odd calm spreading through him, a sense that this desolate scene revealed a truth he'd always felt but never quite grasped. Swallowing hard, he found enough courage to speak.
"Hello? Anyone?"
His call faded into the night, swallowed by a silence so profound that he almost doubted he'd spoken at all. Glancing at the ground, he expected to see puddles from the downpour that had drenched him, but the asphalt lay bone dry, without a single drop to prove the storm had ever happened. Confused and a little unsteady, he set off in the direction of his dorm. Each footstep rang louder than it should, underscoring how alone he was. Without warning, a thunderous crash tore through the quiet behind him, a sound so jarring it felt like the sky itself had ripped apart. Heart pounding, Damian wheeled around, eyes wide. Something enormous had slammed into the street, throwing up clouds of dust and bits of shattered concrete. The few street lamps that still burned fluttered, as if recoiling from this monstrous intrusion. He peered through the swirling haze, catching the vague outline of a massive shape sprawled amidst the wreckage. It twitched, or maybe Damian's unsettled vision betrayed him. A strange, metallic tang filled his mouth, and he realized he was holding his breath. The haze drifted aside, and with it came a slow, dreadful clarity. Towering limbs at unnatural angles, leathery patches of skin reflecting the sickly neon glare. The figure was easily twice his height, more creature than anything that should walk the streets. Damian's pulse quickened. Every instinct told him to flee, yet he couldn't tear himself from the spot. The thing shuddered, taking what seemed like a jagged, labored breath. Then it turned, locking two crimson eyes onto Damian. A hollow stillness claimed the night, and the vast emptiness around them only made the creature's stare more suffocating. Damian squeezed his eyes shut, hoping that when he opened them, reality might reset. No such luck. The monstrosity remained, exuding a raw, impossible presence that seemed all the more real for its inhumanity. Street lamps flickered overhead, their unstable glow casting shifting shadows across the creature's distended form. Damian swallowed against a rising sense of dread, his mind faltering beneath the weight of what his senses insisted was true.
This can't be real.
Yet every time he blinked, the creature's monstrous figure only sharpened, banishing the fleeting hope that any of this was a dream. At last the air stilled again, dust settled, revealing the full horror before him. Half its face looked as though it had been bathed in acid, tissue sagging in glistening ribbons. The other half bore an intricate web of scars. Its mouth hung slack, thick strands of saliva stretching and dripping onto the pavement. With a single, fluid twist, the creature adjusted its entire body to follow the turn of its head, as though it possessed no bones, only a horrifying elasticity. Damian's breath caught in his chest, and he felt as if invisible hands pinned him in place. Then, in one impossibly swift motion, the beast closed the distance, appearing at his side as though it had teleported. A wave of decay-fouled breath struck him, and his mind reeled with a terror too profound for words. Time seemed to collapse into a single moment. Damian heard the slow drip of saliva hitting the asphalt, sensed the rancid stench clinging to the creature's warped features, but his lips refused to move. No scream would come, and then everything blinked into blackness, a sudden void, as if someone had snapped the world's shutter. When his vision returned, the landscape looked subtly changed. The neon lights flickered on the now motionless creature, sprawled on the filthy road in a heap of twisted limbs. Splashes of blood and dust clung to its massive frame, which no longer threatened to lunge. Damian's heart thundered, confused by the abrupt shift one moment. The beast had been poised to tear him apart. The next it lay battered and still. He didn't recall fighting back, much less overpowering anything so colossal. His mind raced, trying to fill in a blank space where an impossible battle should have been. If he had done this, he had no memory of how. A rasping hiss cut through his stupor. The creature's eyes fluttered open red and full of rage. Damian wanted to back away, but he couldn't make his legs move. Slowly, it dragged its mangled body across the asphalt, leaving thick trails of dark, congealing blood. At the edge of the street lamp's feeble glow, it pulled itself upright with a shuddering gasp and vanished into the shadows, leaving behind only a glistening path of gore. Damian dropped to his knees, gasping. Everything was wrong. The missing rain, the silent city, and now a nightmare beast defeated by forces he couldn't name. His hands trembled as though they might offer him a clue, but they held none. He glanced around, finding no comfort in the quiet that once again smothered the street. No explanation for the monstrous attack or his own survival. As the neon's dying flickers played over the cracked pavement, he realized he had no choice but to accept this grim, altered reality. Whatever had just happened, the old world he knew was gone, replaced by questions he was too shaken to ask.